Gentleman from the 58th moves that the House stand in recess until the conclusion of the governor's remarks. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Declare the House in recess until the conclusion of the governor's remarks.
Okay, sit down, sit. I'm going to sit too. How you doing, Mr. Speaker? Good to see you, sir. Good to see all y'all. Okay, first let me apologize for my dress. You know, this is kind of sacred ground to be in here not in a tie, and so please forgive me. I had to, every year I go through this little checkup and everything. And today I had to run and get that little checkup, and I can proudly report everything came out really good, other than they had to stab both my arms to get blood. So other than that, I'm good. But I really appreciate you having me. I made myself a few notes. I just want to talk to you from my heart and just tell you just this. Like I said, it is special to be with you. I can say that some way, somehow, all of us have got to know just how important it is to do what we do. Now, I've said over and over and over from my standpoint, I'm here for one reason and one reason alone, and that's to try to help. I'm not here today, nor will I do this in any way, to criticize or beat up on anybody, but I'm a facts guy. That's what I am. I deal in logic, and I deal in facts. Now, let me just speak first and foremost to the House Dems that are here. And I want to tell you this, and I want you to hear me. I had the opportunity to run as a Republican or a Democrat, either one, and I chose to run as a Democrat. And I did that for a variety of different reasons, but I've carried that flag, and I've carried that flag proudly. I've tried to look out after those that were the sick and the weak and the old. I've tried to do something that would create a lot of jobs for a lot of our union workers. I tried to look out after our teachers and do the right things there. That's what I've tried to do. Now, amongst a lot of other things. But here's my problem. We in this are doing too many things for the sake of politics. Yesterday, you saw something happen that was terribly, terribly disappointing and unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. You saw the Senate Dems vote unanimously against a proposal that had been put forth in big part by me. Well, that feeling of all of a sudden you turn around and you feel like you've carried the flag, you've done all you can do, and you turn around and you're alone, it's not any good. But it really wasn't a vote against me. It was petty politics. But I've said it many, many, many times. On the other side of the petty politics is a name and a family and a school and a university and on and on and on. It happened. It happened in the most unbelievable thing in the world. It's fact. It's fact. Remember, that's what I deal in. Fact. Now think how unbelievable it is for a group of individuals 10 days ago to vote almost unanimously except one, and then today, with almost the exact same material, turned around and say, we're all against it. And who knows why? Who knows why? But we're all getting paid to be here, aren't we? And Jim has run through the villages carrying the flag, has he not? And what was their vote really? Their vote was no against this. Their vote was no to say, we are really for cutting DHHR and hurting our seniors and hurting our disabled. That's what their vote really was for. Their vote was really for maybe not having 48,000 road jobs, or cutting higher ed, or cutting K through 12, or walking away from our vets, walking away from me. That's what their vote was really for. And so to you House Dems that are here, I want you to know that as this thing progresses, it's not perfect. It's never perfect. Gordon Gee said to me the other day, and I said it to the Senate yesterday, he said to me the other day, he said, legislation is really difficult, isn't it? Making sausage is ugly. And I typed back and I said, Gordon, making sausage is ugly. But when we get to the point in time when we hurt our fellow man to make sausage, it's just not worth it to me. Now, listen to me and listen really good. Yesterday was a black eye in many ways. Unbelievable. And I'm talking to the House Dems. Open your eyes and don't follow the leader just to be following the leader. And now as I talk to the House Republicans, I would say this. We've tried to compromise. We've tried in many ways to do a lot of the things, and I've tried to write down just a few notes. We've broadened the base. We've listened to everybody. We've listened to the House. We've listened to the Senate. We've listened to everybody. We broadened the base. We put in a fourth bracket. We started the bracket at 300, then we went to 250, then we went to 200, trying to listen to the Dems on that side. We broadened the base because your speaker wants to broaden the base. We're good there. You know, we got rid of the cat tax. We got rid of the wealthy West Virginians tax. We helped the coal companies with the severance. And we've even tried to take care of the dogs. We tried to take care of the Women's Commission. We tried to take care of the teachers. We tried to do this without just killing DHHR and higher ed and K through 12 or invade rainy day. And for you House Republicans, listen to this and listen really good to this. What we have got that may be not perfect, but what it does is it balances the budget. It controls spending. The spending, for all practical purposes, is exactly the same as last year. It creates tens and tens and tens of thousands of jobs, and it lowers taxes. Now look, I may not be many things in this world, but I just didn't roll off the pickle truck yesterday. You know, from a standpoint of a Republican, when you balance the budget, control spending, create jobs, and lower taxes, it's got to be a pretty dadgum good thing. But you know what? It's a dadgum good thing for us all. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't matter. At some point in time, we've got to rise above that and be West Virginians. I've said it and said it and said it and said it. Now listen to me. Please listen to me. You're in the process of legislation. You're in the process of coming up maybe with alternative ideas or alternative plans. We'll all listen, and we'll try as hard as we can to work together to get there. But we got to stop the silliness. Yesterday was unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. You know, again, I got to say this, you know, a lot of times you may think, well, it bothers me. Well, sure it does. Sure it does. You know, when you give it everything you got in the world and your friends desert you, you dadgum well it bothers you. And when they desert you in unison, you dadgum well it bothers you big time. But you know what bothers me really way more than that? They walked away from the little people. They walked away from the common everyday person. They basically said, dupe on y'all. They didn't really care one iota about, all they cared about was some political nothing. And don't do that. Just be bigger than that. And the bizarre thing of all is you would surely think the least that they could have done is somebody told me what they were going to do. Not a word. So I just tell you just this. You vote as you choose. That's your prerogative. You know, I hope to goodness that we'll get to a solution and get to a solution very quickly. Now, the last thing I'd say is just this. And I got to make sure I've covered all my papers. As you progress forward, you may say, well, let's do this. Let's slow down the rate of how aggressively we cut back the income tax because we don't want to end up like Kansas. Well, I'm with you. I'm with you wholeheartedly. We have triggers built in to make sure we don't end up like Kansas. But I would tell you just this, that if you slow it and slow it and slow it down, you might as well not do it because it's not going to have any effect. The reason this whole thing works is 48,000 road jobs. It's the only way it works. It's the only way in the world it works. You got to have those jobs. And if I walk out of here and die in 10 seconds, I am telling you, you can't turn your back on those jobs. And whatever you got to do to raise a tax, to bond, to whatever you got to do, you got to have those jobs. I would tell every last one of you just this. It is totally bizarre and totally unfair. Unfair to evaluate a proposal and forget where you are. Remember what I said there. Evaluate a proposal and forget where you are. Where are you? Where are you? You know where you are? And I'm right there too. You've got your leg jammed down a crocodile's mouth, and absolutely you're trying to figure out whether or not you're going to go to Wendy's or Applebee's tonight. you better worry about the crocodile that's about to inhale you. That's what you better worry about, because that's what you've got. Now, whatever proposal you come up with, I would beg you to vote. I don't care how many times you vote. Vote. If you want to tweak and modify, but vote. Now, and I would also tell you, don't forget where you came from. The old saying, don't forget who brung you to the dance. Forget who brung you to the dance, but don't forget where you came from. Where you are is you're upside down $500 million and getting ready to go upside down $700 million. And what is at play here is just this. Don't let anybody tell you, well, we know we can balance ourselves in 18 and 19, but with this income tax thing, we go off the track in every way, and we've got $1 billion deficit in 2021. Don't believe that. Of everything I'm good at in this world, I'm good at numbers, and I can buzz the blooming numbers. And I'm telling you, what happens is this: those road jobs save your blooming bacon for a long time. And if you don't cut the income tax enough to get real growth coming, the road jobs will run out. And when the road jobs run out, if you don't have some kind of growth, then you're going to have to backfill, and then you're going to have to aggressively do something. But listen to me. Would I rather, and here's your question, would I rather put myself on a pathway of hope and put myself on a pathway of doing something to this drug epidemic and put myself on a pathway to really doing something? And maybe if it doesn't work in 2021 or 2022, if it doesn't work, we may have to step back and readjust what we need to do. We got our leg in the crocodile's mouth. Would I trade that and the hope of what it could do? Maybe it works. And if it works, we go straight to the roof. We absolutely do wonderful. If it doesn't work, and we've got our foot in the crocodile's mouth in 2021 or 2022, we'll figure it out. But right now, you've got your whole blooming leg in the crocodile's mouth. And unfortunately, if you're men and he gets ready to bite, it's going to hurt more than your leg. Hear what I said. So, listen to me. I really respect your speaker. We throw mud back and forth. I really respect all your leadership and all of you. I really do. I want nothing but goodness here. This is just a plan. If you tweak, we'll listen. I want you not to do the crazy ploys of what happened yesterday with the Democrats, because it hurt us all. It hurt me. It hurt us all. And I thought it was despicable. So I want you to vote. I want you to do goodness. And I want us to go home and quit sitting around here on the taxpayer's dollar and getting more mud thrown at us. The only thing I say is thank you for having me, and I mean it. I love you, and God bless all of you. Thank you again.
The House will be in order. Gentleman from the 58th.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to return to the third order of business.
Gentleman from the 58th, ask unanimous consent to return to the third order of business. Is there objection? Chair hears none. Reports of standing committees.
Your Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 106 relating generally to the furlough of public employees during declared fiscal emergency. Reports back a committee substitute, therefore, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass.
Report be received. Leaves of absence. Gentleman from the 58th.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. For our colleagues, delegates Bates, Caputo, A. Evans, N. Foster, Hicks, Markham, Miley, and Moore.
Without objection, leaves will be granted. Remarks by members of the House. Miscellaneous business. Gentleman from the 58th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Subject to announcements, I move the House adjourn until 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Are there announcements? Gentleman from the 28th, Doug O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Republican members will caucus immediately following adjournment.
Gentleman from the 64th, Doug Householder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Committee on Finance will meet tomorrow morning, May 18th at 9 a.m., and the agenda will be posted.
Further announcements?
Mr.
If not, questions?
Mr.
No,
Speaker.
gentleman from the 58th.
Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Rules will meet at 10:45 a.m. behind the chamber. Rules at 10:45 a.m. tomorrow.
Further announcements? If not, the question for the House is a motion by the gentleman from the 58th that the House stand adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Declare the House adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.